Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. At least I'll welcome myself back to the channel. It's John and Jenna from Flippin' Ain't Easy. And as you can see, I probably look like a tired, hot mess, but that's because I am. This was a very fun but very rough week for me. Of course, on vacation, it's not supposed to be that way. But when you're with 88 guys, and I'd say 75% of those guys want nothing more than to play golf and to get drunk. It leads to a very long weekend for sure, but a very profitable one. Went there with about $1,000 in my pocket, came back with about 2,600, because when those guys get drunk, they turn into very bad poker players. So it was
They're easy.
Oh yeah. So it was pretty fun from that aspect. Won some money playing golf, won some money playing poker. And of course, as tired as I am, it's going to take me a good week to get over 4 hours of sleep per night, because that's exactly what it was. And it was very, very difficult. So with that said, I'd like to thank Jenna. She did an awesome job this week. She really held down the fort, and it was really cool to see the sales coming in, and getting all those sales. And I was able to, from time to time on the golf course, send offers and accept offers from watchers that time, or best offer offers from people who were interested in buying my stuff. And it kind of lessened the pressure, hopefully, off of Jenna. She did do other things other than shipping and stuff, but it was pretty fun. It was pretty good to be able to get away, and she's going to be able to get away this weekend. But now the week didn't go without a mistake. We did have a mistake that we discovered, but I guess we're just going to have to see what happens. We have two brand new, from different manufacturers, raised toilet seats. Yeah, I said it, raised toilet seats. So we get old enough, and the lower standard toilet seat just doesn't work for you, you're going to need a raised toilet seat. And these two were brand new. One was sold, I think, like 3 days apart. I made the mistake of keeping both of these in the same shelf, and Jenna just didn't catch the different brands.
The boxes. So the boxes, their picture of the item and the words were in the same location on both of them, except one was one brand and one was another brand. And I didn't catch that. So I sent the wrong toilet seat riser to the wrong person.
But when you gotta go, you gotta go. And so hopefully it's not going to matter. They're very similar, but a little different at the same time. So we'll see.
And how are they different, honey?
One has a toilet seat that is like complete, like the oval is complete. The other one has that front part missing, I guess, for easy access, if you know what I mean. When you sit on the seat, that type of thing.
When it was described to me, it was described completely different, because I asked him, how are these two different? Because they look nearly the same.
No, they're not.
And
you all know that
in much more graphic detail.
The toilet seat that's missing the front part, that little flap, looks more like a U than an O. So hopefully they didn't need that missing front part. Otherwise, I'm probably going to get a return request, but we'll see. It's okay. So if you're with us today, please contribute to the program. Put your comments and questions in the live chat. That's what drives this program. It's really not the stuff that I talk about the first 10, 15 minutes. It's the other hour and a half that you guys contribute to that really drive this program. If you're not able to make it with us today, please comment down below. But regardless of how you decide to contribute, either comments or through live chat, please hit that like button. I got to tell you guys, it is something that happens all the time. If you hit the like button, you're going to get a sale within the next 24 hours. And it works for many people. And it works. We just hit the like button here a few seconds ago. And it just works, guys. So hit the like button. Well, there it goes. Did you hear that? It just came right through.
Cha-ching!
I just got a sale. So sales have been pretty good. I got to say, we've had, that was pretty cool. We have about $420 in sales today. Had another probably 1,100 over the weekend. Last 7 days over 3,000. So we've been kicking some butt. So good job, honey. You really held your own this week.
Thank
so
you.
With that said, I wanted to kind of talk about a couple things, and this should come to no surprise for many of you, but kind of a discussion we had a couple weeks ago about USPS, and they're changing their first class program and all that. They're getting rid of it. But in the meantime, come in July, USPS is raising prices, and they call this a previously defective pricing model. Now, of course, you can call a lot of other things defective, but I guess they've chosen to just focus on their pricing model. And they're going to be raising first class rates by 5.4%, an additional 5.4% in July. So, and media mail is 7.4%. Money orders, we don't care about that unless you really need them, 15.7%. And then post office box services are going to increase by 4.2%. And, we know that USPS, they raise their rates like twice a year, that type of thing. But, at some point.
I know Wanda Greer was asking something about USPS.
Mm-hmm.
I told her to send you an email, but
okay,
I'm not sure if she did.
Yeah, I don't think I received anything. But, I was able, as you guys know, I was able to catch some of the live from Friday. Not all of it. Wanted to kind of catch up on the live, but I have a very talkative friend, and it's very hard to, like, the plan was to listen to the rest of the live on the way home when I had some kind of reception, but that never happened. So hopefully nice things were said on the live stream, but I trust everything went good on that one. One last thing that I wanted to talk about, and that is the idea of feedback. So I want your opinion on feedback. And the question, and this was on eCommerceBytes, they kind of mentioned it, and I thought it was kind of worthy of talking about. And that is, what is your take on feedback? Do you think that eBay should get rid of the feedback system? And I know that there's a lot of sellers out there that feel like, as sellers, we should be able to give a buyer negative feedback when warranted. The problem is, and the reason why eBay got rid of the negative feedback for sellers to give to buyers is because a lot of times sellers would use it inappropriately and give the buyer like a retaliatory feedback. It was like if the buyer had a bad experience, they would go in and they would leave a negative feedback for the seller. Seller didn't quite agree with it or didn't like the fact that they were getting a negative feedback. And then in turn, they would go in and leave a retaliatory negative feedback. And of course, the buyer would have to go in and fight to get it removed if they even cared about it. And it was just wrong. And I agree that the way the system works right now isn't a level playing field for sellers. Of course, there's a lot of things that are slanted towards the buyers anyway. In my opinion, I believe firmly that there should be only really one time and one circumstance where a seller should be able to leave a buyer a negative, and that's when they just don't pay. And of course, eBay will come back and say, well, we're remedying that and we're going to make it so that the buyers are required to pay. But I mean, we're still waiting. And it's, no matter how much they talk about it, we're still waiting. So I want your thoughts on that subject. It's really moot as far as I'm concerned. Negative feedback doesn't mean a whole lot as it used to anyway. You can reply to it, put your side of the story, whereas in the past you couldn't do that. Well, you know, it was, well, way back you couldn't do that, but now we have 500 characters. We can really put our side of the story. So, you know, it's not that big of a deal. And I think sometimes sellers get caught up on negative feedback. I received one this last month. I left my reply on there and moved on. You know, don't spend a whole lot of time worrying about that kind of thing. There's a lot more things within eBay that you have to deal with if you're doing it properly that need your attention, and fighting negative feedbacks. Really, I found and I've learned over the years that it's really not worth your time. Certainly. I mean, that's not to say you shouldn't try to get rid of the negative, but don't get so worked up over it and spend so much time that it's just going to make you, you know, lose focus on everything else. So want your comments and your feedback down below. Of course, if you're with us here in the chat, you know, please let me know what you think about both of these topics. I mean, there's not a whole lot we could do about the USPS rates, but it's good to know about them. You know, you need to be constantly looking at your options when it comes to shipping. I can say that we are almost about 100% migrated over to the FedEx system that we have in place, including the packaging. So the idea of using bubble wrap and poly mailers and the big poly mailers on some packages is really not happening anymore. Of course, we still have those big poly mailers out there. I'm sure we'll use them from time to time, depending on the products that we buy. But to me, it's just pretty cool. You know, these guys have really been on time. They've been here consistently between, was it 2 and 5 every day? And
yeah, and I mean, they come, like today they came at 2:30, and it was what is different though is it's a different driver most days. I've never seen the same guy twice. Today was even more of it was another different carrier or driver, and he didn't bring the dolly up this time. And I said, you might want to go get your dolly because today's Monday. And he goes, oh, okay. So he went and grabbed the dolly. So
yeah. And if there was a way I can just put all my business over to FedEx, but they can't compete with the 1 pound packaging prices that USPS has. So did you put the bag outside?
Yes,
okay. So hopefully our carrier shows up, but you know, from what I understand, she didn't do a good job last week.
Last week she barely came. She came one day, which was the day of the live.
Yeah.
Thank goodness. But the rest of the week she didn't, and I had to go take, like I said on the live, I had to go to the post office to drop them off.
Yeah. So with that said, we're going to get to your comments and stuff. That Strangers in the House is not happy about price hikes, but my carrier just told me if I can't schedule my pickup to leave a note in the box to pick up, and it's no problem. Can't complain about my service at all. Now you should be able to schedule that pickup on USPS.com. You know, you create an account, and there should be a place where you go in and you can schedule up to 6 months in advance. And just to give a general, like if it's 5 packages you average and just put, you know, an average of 5 packages, they're not going to hold you to it. But, you know, it is a service they offer. And in most cases, I can't say all, they should be able to pick up on a daily basis at your house or apartment, and or even business. And it shouldn't be an issue. It's going to save you the time and headache every day, stopping what you're doing to get those packages in before 5 p.m. So that definitely is something to look into. We have PTS Treasures in the house. We have Mark Suddick. Golf was okay at the first 3 days. We played 4 days in a row of golf, and the 4th day we had like a team event, and our team out of 22 teams came in second. And we kicked some butt, and I had kind of an out of a body experience as far as playing golf. I played out of my mind, and it was very fun. Picky Ricky says, I actually have an auction on eBay, and I have 2 bids. Okay.
That's awesome.
That's sort of a rarity these days, just putting an auction up and having more than 1 bid. You have a lot of snipers that jump on the fact that most people want it now and don't want to wait 5 or 7 days to get the item. Let's see what we have here. We have, I'm actually even on some of the sidebar conversation. We have Jackie Bleckner in the house. We have Biscuit Butt says, hey, Jenna, who's your guest today? I
My
don't
guest
know.
is John.
Just some guy you called the other day and asked about some golf clubs. That's all. Let's see here. We've got that stranger says, I got my first neutral in over 20 years last week. Never had a neutral or negative. The guy said he was okay with the sale, but handles on tools. The handle on the tool is slightly bent. He probably knows better than me, so I expect it's fair. And I mean, what can you do? You can offer a return as a resolution, but maybe if you feel that you've made a mistake, it's one of those things where maybe you could offer, well, at this point, neutral is not that big of a deal. I just move on. If it was a negative, I'd say, hey, look,
but it does hurt the ego. That would bruise my ego a little bit, going from no neutrals, no negatives to a neutral.
I mean, the bottom line is, do you care or do you not care? If you're kind of a person that cares, something like a neutral is going to sting a little bit. If you don't care, then you're going to have a lot of negatives eventually that you're not even going to bother with. You're just going to move on. I don't think that's a good thing. I think negatives can deter some people who actually want to see your feedback to see if you're a good seller or not. So, just move on. I wouldn't maybe leave a reply and, let them know how you handled it and then just kind of move on. Picky Ricky says, I found out, another sale. Okay. So the sales keep coming in. We just hit that like button, I guess. Picky Ricky says, I found out last night that people actually make life size Meccano tanks and some hold world records for it. I don't know what that is. But
life size
Meccano tanks? I don't know what that is. I might have to look that up. Let's see what else we have here today.
Oh, you missed Mike.
Where's Mike? Where's Mike? Oh, our buddy Mike says, hi, all. Welcome back, John. Jenna did a fantastic job on Friday.
She did.
You guys got some inside info from what I heard on the day in the life of John.
It's not all the tea.
There's not a whole lot there, guys. I promise you, it's not a lifetime special that's going to be made for me. I can tell you that. Let's see. That stranger says, I did get a message from a buyer saying a sealed DVD I got from a friend smelled like cigarettes, but he said he'd give me a positive and thought he would just let me know. Okay. So was it to let you know to stop smoking around your stuff? Now, I'm not saying you smoke, but I'm wondering that's what they were trying to say. Yeah. Or if it was one of those veiled, like hint, I'd really like a partial refund, wink, wink kind of thing. And I would just say, thanks for letting me know. We source these from various locations, and we don't, unless you do smoke around your product, we don't do that around here. So I don't know. Picky Ricky says, I polish my DVDs now. They're actually stored in the room I smoke. The rest is well protected in storage boxes. I'm going to sell these DVDs off and solve that issue. Yeah. I don't smoke, so I don't have that issue. But I do know that if you really smoke heavily, and you may not even notice it, but that yellow film will build up on stuff. So you just got to be very, very careful. Truman, Lost in Time Picker. Hello, all. Hope everyone is having a glitch-free day. You know what? Unless these sales are glitches, I think we're having some pretty good.
I'll take those kind of glitches any day.
Yeah. And Mike says, glitch-free, working with eBay, that's quite impossible. I know I'm having a glitch on Hot Desert. There's no sales over there. Well, I don't know.
That's because I can't focus on both. I wanted to put all of my energy into Value Trends, where it's our main store with all the good items. So my focus was really on Value Trends. Of course, I did go back and forth, but Hot Desert definitely was neglected this week. And, hopefully John while I'm away, can kind of restore that.
Well, I'm going to start now, but it's like this. It's kind of weird. Before I left, I scheduled a bunch of albums to be listed every day. And these were more along the lines of like R&B, like old R&B. I like R&B, but I guess not too many people like it like I do. And some of these were really obscure anyway, but I think that may have something.
I didn't see any in the schedule though.
No, these were scheduled.
I was looking. I looked when you left. I looked to see if there were scheduled and listings, and there was nothing.
Really? So if things didn't list, that means that we went a good solid almost week without listing activity.
I managed to list one pair of shoes on Friday. No, it was Saturday, I think.
Oh, well, I've got a bunch of drafts that are for things that need to be completed, but as far as scheduled,
there was nothing in here when I checked.
And you checked when?
I checked on Wednesday. Because I wanted to see how many you had scheduled to list each day.
Right.
Kind of to see where because I was trying to mentally prepare myself for the week. And I noticed in Value Trends, there was a bunch scheduled, a couple each day. And then in Hot Desert, there wasn't anything.
Well, no, these listed. We have some that listed, got Lou Rawls, Nat King Cole, Nancy Wilson. How about this one? BG, the Prince of Rap. And
I don't know.
That's a hot one.
Maybe I checked it after they listed. What time did you have them?
I don't know. I'm not going to investigate it this time, but we'll rectify that by just getting more stuff on there and consistent. That secondary store is more of our, just get rid of it kind of store anyway. So if we get, I think we average about $75 a day, $50 to $75 a day. It adds up over the month. So it just kind of supplements the other store. Picky Ricky says, I washed a music shirt, let it dry on my radiator, listed it, and she still smelled smoke and gave me a neutral. So yeah, I think the best way to get rid of the smell is
baking soda.
And what? Vinegar, right?
Baking soda and vinegar.
Yeah.
I use them for our laundry, and I also, when there's a pair of like the canvas shoes that you can really smell like a foot smell, I'll throw them in the washer and they get out I pull them out of the wash and you can't smell it anymore. So heavy smells, the baking soda will extract the smell somehow. So baking soda and vinegar, white vinegar.
So Sandra Hoyer says, hello, happy Monday, FAE folks. I had another good weekend. It's been sucking during the week, but good on weekends. Been like this for about a month. Yeah.
Yeah, we usually have 1, maybe 2 days during the week where it's, but all the weekends are, it's like come Sunday evening, it's the cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. It's crazy.
Whispering Hill Farms says, I buy storage lockers. This week I bought what I thought was a sweet old ladies unit, only to find she used to own a very expensive strip club. Wow. Exclusive.
Wow.
There I go with my blunders again.
I know. I think Tommy on Friday, he's like, man, I miss John because he's always messing up the words.
Yeah. Me and my Hooked on Phonics channel, I'm going to start on here pretty soon. So if you want to learn English with me, we can start that together on another channel. Stephen S&S Bargain Barn. Good afternoon. Well, thank you for hanging out with us, Stephen. Leonard Kostakowski says, hello from New Hampshire, cold, wet, and rainy.
Ooh,
yeah, we had,
it's hot here.
We were literally like 200 yards from the river, the Colorado River. And it was 100 degrees the first day, and it progressively got cooler until we had 80 the last day, and it was a really nice weekend. So, or week actually. Let's see.
There were lots of bugs.
Well, the first night, but as it got cooler, we had the lights out for the poker. We're out in on a patio area, large patio area, and we had some wind, so we had the tarp covering the area that we're in. But we had these gnats that just migrated over the lights, and it was pretty tough. But as it got cooler, every day it got less bugs, and it was pretty nice.
He came home with a windshield just full of bug guts.
Oh, that was wonderful.
It was nice.
So we're gonna have to go wash the car here. Brian H says, hi, John and Jenna. John, I hope you enjoyed your trip. Jenna, you did great last Friday. Awesome.
Thank you.
Let's see. And I'm trying to do better, guys, in not falling so far behind. So let's see if I can do that. We have Rosie Games in the house. Hi, John and Jenna. Hope your trip was fun. Jenna, you did great Friday.
Thank you.
Kate Picker says, "Hello, all sales are back. Sales suck. Oh, well, sales are back for me, but they suck for you. I'm sorry.
That's terrible.
Let's see. Victor says, hey, everyone. I have not been able to add any custom item specifics this last week. That's interesting. So I'm curious, is it just not allowing you the option to put anything there, or is it just not taking it when you submit? I'm curious more about that. Kina says, Jenna rocks. That's awesome. Amazon Seller 99. Sometimes you have to get away and have a little fun. Poker and golf can't get much better. No, it can't. When you're making money, it's pretty awesome. And, it's really cool when you're not the one drinking and everyone else is. You watch how they change within hours from just being the people you're used to seeing to like someone totally different. Truman, Lost in Time Picker says, hello, John and Jenna. I watched Jenna afterwards. I rewarded with my first bonanza selling of hitting the like button. That's what I get for missing a live. Oh, crap. Have we even checked Bonanza?
I have not. I've checked Mercari, but.
Oh, no.
Actually, I take that back. I checked it. I checked everything on Wednesday.
Okay.
But
so
that was Wednesday.
I mean, I'm not. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We dodged that bullet.
I don't think we had to dodge too hard.
Semperfi 1918 in the house, and despite my side not working on the live, she did a great job.
My side not working.
Oh.
My side not working.
I don't know.
Despite my side.
Well, I hope your side. I hope your side gets
okay.
better. Jake Tim says, I made sure to claim my 24-hour sale trade for a like immediately. Yes. Flippin' Con Marco says, hey, FAE peeps, happy Monday. Hi, John and Jenna. Hope you guys had a great vacay. It was good.
He did.
Yeah. Or, well, hope you had a great vacay. Remember, this is Hooked on Phonics for eBay. Cassandra says, what a crappy situation about the toilet seats. Yes.
Yeah. That was my bad. Well,
but you know what?
It was partially his fault, but partially mine.
My thought was, if they had to go bad enough, it's not going to matter, right?
Pretty much the way I look at it is they were really very similar, and the boxes nearly looked identical.
Right. So when you got to go, you got to go, and either they're going to open a return. Hopefully they don't open there's sealed packaging in there, but nonetheless, it's a mistake. If they need that little indentation in the front, then they can send it back, and we'll just deal with it. The Flippin' Sports guy says USPS rate hikes coming soon. It's now a permanent conversation. The day after the next one, we'll start talking about the next one. Yeah. But it's good to know, and can't complain about it. It's just what it is. You need to make sure you're charging these buyers at least the cost it's going to cost you for shipping. I know that eBay supports or not only supports, but encourages sellers to use free shipping. I think I do it every once in a while when I want to stay competitive. There's no other sellers using, the actual calculated model or an additional shipping. It's all free. But I do so knowing I have a lot of room to work with, so it's not going to kill me. I think a lot of people need to really look at their model, their business model, and really start considering adding shipping to their prices. And it's not holding my sales back at all. We're getting sales regardless.
We hesitated in the beginning. I mean, we had free shipping in the beginning, and we would just add, that price basically into the price of the item. Well, it wasn't, we were paying way more than what we should have. And so my concern was, I thought that would deter people from buying the items. And so we had a discussion about it, and he's like, I'm just going to test it and see what happens. And sure enough, he was right and I was wrong.
Keena says more call center romance stories, no eBay talk. Well, I mean, there's all kinds of
for that.
Yeah, I heard some of that.
Oh, okay.
So I can tell you, if you work in a call center, you learn about almost everyone's romance stories. And yeah,
there's a lot of things that go on in a call center amongst
call
people.
center, working at a call center, it's so entertaining. I think at least my department was so entertaining.
There's so much drama. It's ridiculous.
Purple Cactus Sales says, hello, enjoy your chats.
Thank you.
Kate Picker says, magic ka-ching. Yes, that was quite odd that we had 2 cha-chings within the first 20 minutes of the show.
We like that.
Joe, I'd flip that, says, hi, everyone. I like that name.
I like that name too.
Let's see. Yeah, someone was wearing a poker, or not a poker, but a golf shirt the other day, and it had like a ball that's next to a hole, and it said, I'd tap that. So that is pretty funny. Backyard Mowing says, nice job. Yes, nice job, Jenna. Very nice job. Eddie says, hi, John and Jenna. A buyer purchased multiple auctions that ended on different days and paid each day, creating separate orders. eBay said to combine shipping on first order and add tracking to the rest. So you can go in and select both orders and then go into combine. It'll combine both of them, and then it'll give you what they think is the actual shipping cost. But you might have, let's say, a bigger box. So you're going to have to put in the actual dimensions and the weight. And then when you go to pay for the label, then that will give you what you're paying for your shipment. Now, if you...
He also has a comment that's extended onto that.
Okay. I also have a discount on shipping for each order because it was cheaper after being combined. So unless you're saying to them, or you've said to them, hey, we will give you a discount on combined shipping, like some people will reach out and say, hey, I want to order 2 of these. And, I have it set up for calculated. I'll go in and say, okay, once I run the label and I combine these with the larger size box and weight, then I'll go ahead and give you back, the difference kind of thing. But that's only if I have that conversation. If that conversation never happens and they buy multiple items from me, chances are I'm not going to combine shipping. I mean, this is part of the business. Shipping and handling is involved in that. Right now, I can tell you there's been a number of occasions where, eBay calculates the buyer is going to be paying $15 for, let's say $20 for a label, comes out to $13 when I ship it by FedEx with the discounts that I have. There's going to be times where I'm going to be paying more than what they paid. It's happened. It happens almost every day. Maybe I've miscalculated the weight or the dimensions after everything's said and done. And it's all going to balance itself out. So, just don't find yourself having to give money back when you're out of pocket, if that makes sense. I mean, if you didn't charge enough in the first place. Yeah. Leonard says, our USPS person is quitting this Friday, is their last day. Now we can train a new male person. So I pray that our carrier will quit sometime soon. I should start talking to her about the idea of maybe reselling and how awesome it is to work for yourself and you don't have to. She rarely shows up for work, which is a good thing. But the problem is there's usually some new carriers that don't even know they're supposed to stop. And I think they get a little note that they're supposed to stop, but they just don't. And I kind of hope that she quits and the main backup who brings us bags like on a Saturday, things like that. I'd like to be able to give, a thank you gift card once in a while, but how do you give someone that doesn't care? It's like, hey, could I get some more bags? And she'll be like, let's see what I can find. And so she'll bring me 2 bags. And it's like,
she gave me 1.
I mean, are you kidding me? It's like,
this is all I could find.
No, and that's all she cared to
That's all
do.
You only remember because you had to show up at my door. That's the only reason why you're giving me this bag.
Cassandra says, if I had a negative interaction with the buyer, I still give positive feedback, but say the negative thing inside. This gives another seller's warning like non-payment. Yeah, like it's with a false positive. And, I made a video about, look, it just doesn't do a whole lot. I guess there's some people that look at that. But, as a seller, I mean, if you have an item that's out there, okay, fine. This buyer goes in and they have a bunch of false positives saying that they don't pay. That's not going to stop them from buying your item, if that's what it is. Now, you can, and I actually, there is a report that shows on eBay how many times within like the last 30 days, I think it's 90 days, where people have been denied from buying your item because they have too many strikes. I have my account set up to where if they have more than 2 strikes in the last 30 days or 90 days, whatever it is, that they can't buy the item. And I've had, in one case, I think on my main account, 4 different people that were denied from buying my item, not just auctions, but buying your item.
I had that happen last week on Hot Desert. I sent
Yeah.
tried to send an offer to the person, and eBay came back and told me that this buyer is no longer allowed to purchase on eBay or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh.
Well, I think I brought that up about a month ago, where I had this person that sent me a message, hey, can you put my name on the exception, on your exception list? And I'm like, well, what did you do to, what did you, oh, my kids got a hold of my account, that kind of thing. And we had a big issue with it. And so I was like, well, you know what? It's not an auction. You're going to have to pay up front anyway. So I went in and added their name. They paid, and I never heard back from them. So that's good, right? But I think if each of us go in and set up our account to where we go in and say, okay, if this buyer has had 2 strikes within the last whatever time frame it is, I forget what it is, then they cannot buy your item. Then it's going to get a lot of people, the bad buyers, off of eBay at least. But then again, that requires like almost all buyers or all sellers to participate, which I highly doubt.
Couldn't you get in trouble for a false positive?
I guess
false negative, either one.
I guess if you get enough complaints, they could do something, right? Because you're violating eBay policy. But who's going to I mean, you can't even get a hold of a rep. Who wants to spend that kind of time to report a seller anyway? Most people just move on. Kina, do you guys give buyer feedback as soon as you ship? No one gives me feedback on eBay, so I don't leave any for them. I have it set up to where eBay automatically leaves. I think I have like 5 different feedbacks that it chooses, and it leaves one positive feedback as soon as the buyer leaves a positive feedback. So I think you guys have had it as well, where a buyer will reach out and say, can you please leave me positive feedback? I've received the item, this, that, and the thing. I just let them know, because we have so many transactions that it's an automatic process. Once you leave the positive feedback, then it automatically leaves you one.
Do you have that on Hot Desert?
Have it on both accounts.
Okay.
Because it's not
somebody asked me about that.
Yeah, that's it. That's it's just if I could automate all the processes that aren't critical, like leaving feedback, I would, and you should too. It's just one last thing you have to worry about. Tommy says you can get suspended for that if reported. But that's just it. I mean, how many buyers are going to report? Biscuit Butt says eBay should get rid of feedback and utilize that energy and time for solving other issues like immediate payment. Yeah, fulfill the promises that you've given us. Now, it's been over a year where you've promised us that we're going to have this payment, this instant payment. I continue to put things on layaway for people. And like I have our little intubation mannequin. I sold that thing for $150. I took an offer on it, right? I'm only into it for like $6 or $7. So I have an offer on that, and that was 3-4 days ago. So I'm waiting to be able to relist this thing. I guess I could do it now, but I will wait until the 4 days is expired, and that way it gets a little ding on their account. Okay. So once that's done, I want to sell that thing. It's just kind of creepy. So I want to we got the waiting payment. So we got that. I just sold a modem, and I got a pair of shoes that they offered me, and a price.
Said he was going to pay today.
Okay, we'll find out then. And so it's just frustrating. You go in, especially if you're cross posting, you have these items listed on other platforms. You take an offer, you remove these items from like Poshmark or Mercari, and then they don't pay. And now not only are you finding yourself having to relist it, which isn't a big deal on eBay, but you have to go back in and reinstate your listings on other platforms, and it just creates extra work. and eBay really needs to get
or
their
you
act
just
together.
forget that to relist it on Posh because
Yeah. That's why, and this is if you're cross posting on Poshmark, this is one thing I noticed, and that's something I haven't told you. But if you take an offer on eBay, let's say on an item you have on Poshmark, okay, when you go to take that item off of Poshmark, go to edit, okay, and that's where you would go to anyway. But when you go to the bottom, you have an option of deleting the listing, or you have an option of putting it not for sale.
I always put it for not for sale.
Right. So what I like to do is if I get the money for it on eBay, I delete the listing. If I don't get the money for it and I'm waiting for payment, I'll go for not for sale, because I don't want that in my store anyway, because it'll say like sold, not for sale, that kind of thing. And I just want to clear out the closet that way. So that's kind of the formula that I use when I go in.
I always do not for sale.
Yeah, but I guess it doesn't matter. I guess you could do it that way too, but I want to get rid of it. If I've taken the money for it, then I'll just get rid of the listing. Unless you have more of those same items, then you can do it that other way. Let's see. Purple Cactus says feedback shows the buyers what sellers are reputable, but not everyone is perfect, but gives a rough idea. Yeah. And for me, I'm just that way. Look, if I'm going to buy something on eBay, you better believe that I'm going to look at the feedback. I just do it every time. I look at the feedback of the seller I'm dealing with, and I will pass on a seller that has just shady feedback, no communication, didn't receive my item. And one is not bad. I'm not worried about that. But if it's a pattern, then it's time to move to another seller, because I don't want to be a statistic where, this person, 5% of their buyers are kind of left holding the bag with no communication and they're dealing with problems. You buy from enough sellers like that, then you're going to find that you're in that position. So I'm just that way. I'll spend hours on, like, if I'm buying on Amazon and I see that it has 4 stars, I will spend hours reading reviews on a product because I don't want to return anything. So I'm just weird like that. Maybe there's not very many of me that do that out there, but I'm very careful when I buy stuff online. That's just the way I am. Biff Boffo says, I can get rid of negative feedback. I get less than 1 per year. And again, that's not going to hurt your account. That it used to be a big deal. It's not a big deal anymore. Purple Cactus says, we have sold a lot of items with immediate payment over the last months. I've sold a few, right? But again, I continue to have 3 or 4 in queue where I'm waiting for payment. And I'd say like 60% I eventually get paid on, and the other 40% I'm, issuing, actually relisting it after I cancel it. Biscuit Butt says, I'm taking my chances. I leave false positive all the time for non-payers. If I get suspended for something as asinine as that, then eBay isn't for me. So for me, I'm going to do everything I can to avoid eBay saying how I violated this. You guys know my story. Violated that. I'm not going to do that. I'm tempted many, many times to do that when someone doesn't pay. But, if I'm spending that kind of time to go back, type in a false positive, hoping that someone, what is the seller going to do? Maybe if it's coming down to, well, do I take an offer from this person or not? I mean, that would be the only reason why you'd need to know if they've followed through anyway with the, a sale or not. For me, it's just not worth the time. If someone's serious about buying your item, they'll buy it. Otherwise, I'll just wait the 4 days and relist it.
Prosser doesn't like our white lights.
Oh, okay. Not keen on your white light background lighting, but it's different.
Sorry. I was trying to fiddle with the thing to change the color, and it was taking too long, and we had to go live. So this is what we got.
I'm not keen on it either.
I'm not either. And now that I look at it, because I didn't look at it,
just washes everything out.
It does.
So
sorry, guys.
Sorry about that. I'll fire the production manager after the show. John B says, hi, JNJ from vacation in Spain. Wow, dodgy Wi-Fi. I booked my time away with eBay a month before my vacation. Sales dried up a week before my holiday. Moral is telling eBay nothing. Well, that's awesome. I'd love to be able to go to Europe
I wanna go to
sometime.
Spain.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Gosh, who was it that was on a cruise ship watching the live on Friday? I forget who that was, but they were on a cruise ship watching
I want to.
my live.
I want to go visit my our old coworkers in the Azores.
Portugals.
In the Azores, it's an island off of Portugal. He retired when they closed the office, and he had a home in the Azores and moved out there, and it's looks really nice out that way.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
William Poland says, as far as now, I'm lucky, but that can change as always on next delivery. My fingers always crossed. I'm always crossing my fingers. Okay. That stranger says, when I started sellers could leave negative feedback, and I was surprised when I came back that we couldn't, but I've never needed that option, so it doesn't really affect me. I really think it bothers people not having the option to leave a negative feedback because they want that retribution.
They want to have their voice or their side of the story heard.
I would love nothing more to be able to leave you guys know I've had those block parties in the past and stuff. I would love nothing more than to be able to award a bad buyer like that with negative feedback when it's appropriate. But look, I'm not going to lose any sleep because I know that, look, we don't have an option as sellers to prevent a buyer we've never dealt with in the past from, buying from us unless they're offering a deal, right? If they're willing to pay full price, they can have all the dings in the world. And guess what? You still are required when that payment comes through to sell to them. And I get a lot of people that'll say, look, I've sold this item, they paid for it. But I look at their feedback and, they have a lot of negative, comments on their feedback. I don't really want to sell it to them. And to me, it's like, look, it's a sale. You got the money, you have seller protection. So don't let that stop you from completing the transaction. Go through the sale. I don't even bother looking at negative feedback or the feedback of people who buy from me. I just don't. I've got too much to do. No one designs in the house. Hey, John and Jenna, great job, Jenna, on the live. She really did a good job, I think. Really, you guys help drive the content. I mean, if it wasn't for you guys, asking your questions, your comments and stuff like that, I'm sure it would have been a very short live. I mean, I didn't even get through the whole thing. I plan on watching it later because it's kind of like going to your own funeral. Getting to hear what people are saying about you that normally, wouldn't be spoken about. Like, Jenna doesn't tell me, how of a great job that I do. I mean, every once in a while she might say something in passing, but it's like having an out of body experience going, wow, these people are saying all these nice things about you. So it was kind of cool from that standpoint. Sandra says, I had a stalker seller on Mercari after I left neutral feedback when an item arrived broken. He left me a horrible message with threats and intimidation for 2 days. I had to call Mercari to get rid of him. Yeah, that is pretty scary because they have your information. They have your address. All they have to go back into the transaction and look. And you just never know. While it's not likely that anything's going to happen other than just dealing with a keyboard warrior that's mad about, how things went down. You have that 1% chance where you're going to really be dealing with a wacko. And yeah, it's scary from that standpoint. Gail's in the house. Hello, John and Jenna. Thanks for being here, Gail. Biff Boffo says, I don't think negative feedback should stick for a year. 6 months is plenty.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think so. But then again, I've seen many stores because I'd like to go in and look at my competitors and see what they're doing. And I say competitors, just random stores who sell everything like electronics and stuff. And I'm surprised how many negative feedbacks a lot of these stores have, but yet they get the sales. So if it's not affecting them, a random negative here and there is not going to affect me, and I just move on. Brian just had a sale come in after hitting the like button 13 minutes ago.
Woo-hoo!
There's just something to it. There's something to it. Andy Reno's in the house. Thanks for being here from Indiana. Keena says, I have a huge mailbox, and if I have more than it'll hold, I put a note in the mailbox and leave packages on the front porch.
I wish it was that easy.
Yeah. I mean, there's times that it's like the only time that she'll leave a package on her front porch is if it's too big for how like they leave a key in your box. If you're like in a community, they leave a key in your box and they have like the larger compartments at the bottom. And otherwise, they'll leave it. But and I've had some.
She is just pure lazy. There was no other excuse for her.
So Purple Cactus Sales says, we live 2 minutes from USPS. FedEx and UPS, not much time needed to drive and drop off. Would not pay a company like FedEx to pick up the packages. Now, that was my initial thought. We are literally a mile away from the UPS store. The problem is I have to go and load up these large boxes in the car. Okay. And I was into a routine where as soon as I slapped the label on it, I'd have my SUV parked backed into the driveway where I just go and load the packages in the car. And once it was done, I'd get in the car, go, boom, and drop them off. But yeah, it doesn't seem like it's that big of a deal. But if you take the time to load up the car, and there's never parking near the UPS store, it's always like many feet away, like maybe 12 stalls away, and we're dealing with heavy boxes and stuff.
Yeah, remember, we are selling large items. So these are not, this big. They're very, very large and sometimes extremely heavy.
Right.
And so if I were to have to do that last week, I would have been very upset.
So doing that, and then, a lot of these people at UPS store, you start loading up their counter with packages. They start looking at you sideways, even though they don't really ever say anything negative about it. And, by the time it's all said and done, you get back home, you've lost 30 minutes and you've had to stop what you were planning on doing just to do that. And if your time has any value, $4 a day isn't going to hurt you. And that's all we're paying is $4 a day. I got to tell you, many cases, if I'm still charging UPS ground rates because there's a chance we do send the items by UPS ground, depending on how we have to package it, that type of thing. But there's times that FedEx is saving me like $10 to $15.
That's what I was telling them on Friday. Literally, some of those packages are saving us $10 to $15. And it's over the course of all. I would love to be able to know, like, do an experiment over a course of maybe a week or 2 weeks to know what that actual difference was that we saved versus you using UPS. Because I would imagine that we've only been doing FedEx religiously last week, so 5 days, and we probably saved well over $100 already. Yeah. And it's worth it for us to pay $4 a day. It takes away from him or I doing other things. 30 minutes doesn't sound like a lot, but when, you're out and about, there's traffic there. If Vegas is not, it's very populated. And so, it's very busy. It works for us. And I would probably pay double that just so somebody would come and take them off my hands.
Right. And so Purple Cactus says neutrals do not matter, but the words that your buyer will place in those neutrals will matter to somebody who
likes my shirt.
Yeah. But the words that, your potential buyers can see might cause them to click away because, we talk about conversions, you talk about page views versus sales. If you have crappy feedback loaded with just a bunch of neutrals that say bad things about you, it is going to chase a percentage of people away from buying from you.
Because look at it from a consumer's point of view or a buyer's point of view. I read all the reviews when I'm buying something. And, if somebody has a 2-star, I want to know why. And so, and John does the same thing. We don't buy anything without looking at reviews first. And if they've got too many of them, I will even, deter and find another seller if they have a 4-star. So, you got to look at it from an overall point of view.
So William Poland just purchased 12 Glock 19 Gen 5 blue gun training gun only for $2, wow, which is a good buy. Put them on 7-day auction, and only one is sold for 35, the rest for 45 with 15 plus bids. So look, me and auctions, I don't like auctions. I really think auctions are dead. If you're asking my opinion, which you're not, but I'll give you my thoughts. Auctions are for the most part dead. And the reason why I say that is those items you're selling, those guns you're selling, you sold the first one for 35, the rest for 45. But if you, I'm willing to bet that you probably could slap $49.99 on those and put them up for a fixed price, and you'll not have to wait 7 days. You can get them sold now.
Yeah, especially those types of items, they sell quick. And because we've sold quite a few accessories for guns, and they sell very, very quick, and they always sell at the price listed.
So for me, it's one of those things where unless you have something that you just can't find sold comps for, maybe you did find a sold comp, but you think, wow, that's really low. You know, like these sellers out there who don't know, maybe they had no idea what to price it as. So they just slapped 20 bucks on it and it sold like quickly. If there's not a lot of sold comps on that item or none, then it's time to see what the market thinks about your item and put it on auction. But otherwise, I just don't believe in auctions. I think you're losing money. Bless you. Okay, you didn't sneeze.
Sorry.
Okay. So that's kind of my take on it. I think with a lot of auctions, in many cases, if there's known sold comps on there, you're leaving money on the table. Let's see. Picky Ricky, Americans don't use Meccano, made in France. I think there's those Meccano tanks. Still don't know much about them. John B says, got my first negative after 2,000 plus, never did any harm. I know there's people that think that that's an accomplishment, that, hey, I've got 100% feedback, right? It ain't. You get the wrong buyer who leaves the negative feedback and it's not something that eBay is willing to remove. Well, then what? I mean, at the end of the day, and then it gets them all bent out of shape, don't even worry about it. I mean, negative feedback, unless you're getting a lot of it, then don't even worry about it. Flipping Con Marco says, I made a mistake on an item I sold, didn't do my research. Lucky it was a low cost item. Offered a refund, but told me not to worry. He just wanted to bring it to my attention. Whew, no bad rating. But I just wanted, what is the underlying, meaning for I want to bring it to your attention? It almost makes me feel like it's the same as the saying that they put at the end, how would you like to proceed? Kind of putting it out there that they want a partial refund, that type of thing. I don't know. That's just me. I'm kind of always a little suspicious from buyers when they send you messages. It's like, what do you want me to do? And that's kind of sometimes how I would respond. Please tell me what you want me to do, because then they come back and say, I want a partial refund. Well, you can't do that. I mean, eBay, if you leave a negative feedback and I'll come back and say to eBay, hey, well, they're asking me they told me to send them money. And because I didn't, they put a negative, and, chances are they'll remove it.
He replied back, William, Poland.
I wish I'd known before. I hesitated on purchase them, but did anyway, $2 a piece.
No, they sell very, very well. So anytime you get a chance to sell accessories for
this is a training gun itself.
I mean, those things they sell very good. We learned that. We got some scopes in a pallet one time, and they sold like that.
But I'm surprised though that those wouldn't have had sold comps that would tell you, wow, $2 is a great buy on these, right? So I'm definitely all in on that type of a purchase, because what it does is it gives you so much room. Let's say, you bought them for $2 and someone came to you for, I'll buy one for 25 right now. Would you pass on that, or would you wait? And it just really depends on how long you've been sitting on it. But, it gives you options that a higher buy price really wouldn't. Incredible deals. Good stuff here. Very informative as always. Thank you both. Welcome back. Well, thank you. Thank you for being here. We certainly appreciate you for being here with us today.
Hey, it's happy National Cheese Ball Day. I like cheese balls.
I love cheese balls, but Cheese balls with crackers. You know what? It's always been like a Christmas thing for me for cheese balls. My grandmother used to send in like the freeze packs. She would make homemade cheese balls and peanut brittle, and she would send it to us. And then we'd go to town, or we'd buy some at like Hickory Farms.
That sounds really good.
But they only really have like the Hickory Farms out in the mall, like when it's Christmas time.
But they have the cheese balls.
So yeah, but nothing better than a good cheese ball while you're watching a show, that kind of thing, and just kind of relaxing and doing that. That sounds fun, actually. But okay, Greg D says some people use ozone treatments to get rid of smells.
Ozone treatments.
What's an ozone treatment?
I don't know.
You like? Please let me know, Greg. What and how we can get a hold of ozone.
Said it too. Also, spraying regular vodka on the items. Ozone spray works good too. What the heck is ozone?
And we've seen I saw a lot of regular vodka and tequila this whole last week. So, Biff Boffo says listing every single day does not matter. eBay obviously knows a scheduled listing is scheduled. Having a scheduled listing go live is an activity, but it's like, but I would say this, Biff, eBay isn't that sophisticated. Okay. Look at their own website. There's a lot to be desired. I don't think they've gone that far as to programming the algorithm to determine whether or not it was an organic listing or a scheduled listing. I really believe in my heart that eBay isn't that sophisticated or care how you list it, as long as there's activity. eBay wants activity. I want to hear, this is what I want you to do, Biff. I want you to do nothing on your account for the next week. Nothing. Don't sell it. Don't list anything. Don't send offers. Don't interact with your account. Don't sell similar. Yeah. And let me know how that turns out. And I'm willing to bet.
I can tell you right now that our Hot Desert Deals store is suffering because I didn't list anything. And tell me why.
But what you got to know, though, Biff, is that eBay did come out and say that it is not necessary for you to list every day. It's a fact that you do not have to list every day. But they want some activity. They want to know you're interacting with your buyers. You're replying in a timely manner. They've said it. Look, with this whole thing with, the idea of your buyers, obtaining your information, when that was thrown out there, it was decided that how fast you reply to your buyer makes a difference in whether or not they're going to display that information. They have a way of tracking that. And if there's so many things that you can do with your account that shows activity, that'll satisfy eBay, not just listing. So you just have to be, and I do think that eBay looks at your overall growth per week. I certainly believe that. But it's hard to grow. Can you imagine if, like, your local store, let's say Walmart, they're very busy, right? But if Walmart didn't stock their shelves very often, eventually you're going to go into a store that has less and less items than the week before, and you're going to have less and less opportunities to make those sales because buyers just can't find what they're looking for. So I think it's all important. I think the interaction you put into your account is just as important as the number of listings. But because I didn't know last week that I was going to be able to even interact and, reply to offers or answer messages, I didn't think I was going to have any reception where I was going to be on the golf course when I actually did. I made it a point to at least schedule some listings to show activity on my account, because I firmly believe between the scheduled listings that I listed or scheduled and the replies that I made to my buyers and the offers that I accepted and sent out to my buyers last week was the reason why. I mean, we sold like $3,000 worth in the last week. And I don't think we would have had half of that if I had zero interaction. If I just let it go on vacation. You were here. You were here, right? But at the same time, let's just say that we did nothing. We did nothing on the account and just let it go for 4 or 5 days. We would have gotten sales, but I highly doubt that we would have received as many sales as we did. Jan says, hello all from Deltona, Florida. Welcome back, John. Jenna did a great job holding down the fort while you were gone. Yes.
Thank you.
Aside from sending the wrong toilet seat, that guy is going to be sitting on that seat saying Jenna didn't do such a good job, but otherwise you did a good job. Keena says, happy National Kid Rock Day.
I love Kid Rock.
Cowboy Baby. I don't know anything about that. Lisa Dure says,
that's a song.
Well,
Cowboy.
I don't. Well, there's no R&B song that says Cowboy Baby. So
yeah, you wouldn't know.
Lisa Dure says, I stumbled across Jenna last Friday. Jenna could have had her own channel for sure.
Aw, thank you, Lisa.
Yeah, I saw a lot of.
I was very flustered. My voice was going out. It was just, I was stressed out. It was not my best.
But I do know that I have someone to fill in for me when I need to. So that's awesome. Tommy says, learn English with John, $19.99 per month. English. I speak good English. You guys, man, I tell you.
I love it.
I try. Okay, I get tongue twisted at times. Andy says, hey, John, that reminds me what happened to the other channel with videos of you and garage sales and thrift stores. You know what? I was talking about at the beginning of the year to, I had a conversation with Cincinnati Picker, and he was telling me that he recommends, look, if I'm going to do lives, then to put them on, a different channel. And that would have been like a channel where I'd put like yard sale stuff. But, and I put the little thing out to you guys. What do you guys think I should do? And most of you said, just put it all in one channel. The bottom line is, if I make between the lives and the regular videos, if I put out 5 things a week and maybe one of them isn't your cup of tea, I'm sure you're going to hang in there for the content. I'll be totally honest with you guys. Here's the thing. Here's my dilemma. I love garage sales. Don't get me wrong. I like going to garage sales. I like looking for golf clubs. I like looking for things that I know I can flip. But if I have so many items that I'm buying online and I'm just happy, I'm just content with my sourcing right now, do I rather just keep doing what I'm doing, making the money, or sleep in instead of going to some garage sales? I've been very lazy lately with the garage sale thing, but I'm thinking I'm going to go this weekend because I keep seeing like Archie's finding stuff out there, not only, yard sales, but he's finding an offer up. Encourage you guys to keep checking things like offer up, because people have things and he's able to find all kinds of stuff. He's always telling me all these things he's finding out there, and he's definitely scoring. So between yard sales and offer up, that's something I can add, you can add to your arsenal of finding things to sell. But as far as videos, I'm going to be doing those because I think they're fun to do, but I just haven't been at the yard sales to do them. No one design. I wonder if Archie sobered up from Jenna's live.
I didn't say that many cuss words. What did I miss on that? They were saying that Archie was going to take a shot for every time I said a bad word.
Oh,
and I didn't even say enough for him to get a buzz. Okay.
Keena says, hey, did you guys see Friday night? Long after the live stream, there were around 900 viewers. Interesting.
Huh?
Well, she's saying, did you see we had 1,400 views on your video or your live stream.
Really?
Yeah. Yep. We have the new Lindy Glenn here.
Shut up. No.
And just need to make our own selling channel. And in about 5 years, we can open our own bin store. So I think that's the plan. Andy says, hey, John, that reminds me, what happened to the other channel with videos? We just asked that. I know. Victor says it does not submit. The hyperlink button for transmission is gray and not functional. Not sure what that is. Maybe I think you're talking about the item specifics not allowing you to. It's not functional. That's really strange. What you can try to do, Victor, I don't know if you're trying to do that on the PC or the app when you're trying to do your additional item specifics, but open up that listing on the app and see if it's doing the same thing. And if it's giving you that problem on the app, try the PC and see what's happening. No One Design says, tell me, what is English? Jeez.
Oh my God.
I'm not that bad. Biff Boffo says, April, May was my worst spell of 2022, looking to be the same. paying the bills fine, just not putting anything extra away for now. Yeah, that's kind of the mode that we were in December, January. It was like, yeah, this is getting kind of scary.
It was getting scary.
And I gotta tell you, if I would have kept going down that road, just look at our secondary account. That would have been kind of what our account would have been. It was sad,
ugly, and sad and pathetic.
You got to make those changes. I mean, look, here's the thing: if April and May is historically the worst time of the year for you, maybe it's worth looking to get in the secondary account and maybe looking into buying things that'll help you supplement that, right? That you can buy and sell. That maybe you're in a niche right now that historically, those months don't do well for you. Maybe it's not that far of a stretch to say maybe you should look into getting another niche or another store that sells everything. And I don't mind running 2 accounts. Really, just log in and log out. It's not that big of a deal. But my thing is, or you can say the rest of the year you're putting money away for April and May every year so that you're not feeling the crunch. But I think that unless you're satisfied with it, maybe you might want to look into making a few difficult changes or some changes you're not kind of comfortable with.
Pete's here.
Brian says calculated shipping for me. Pete from Craigslist Hunter's in the house. I hear a rumor that Pete is in the house. So thanks for being here.
He's doing the googly eyes.
That's awesome. I mean, it just really surreal when you have people that you would watch on a daily basis and you continue to watch on a daily basis. But back when you were just starting out, you watch them and see what they're doing, right? And look at the stories they have to tell. And they're actually watching you. It's just really, really weird. So thanks for being here, Pete.
Yeah, I didn't ever used to watch his videos before. And within the last probably last month, I've been going back and watching some of them. I just die laughing.
Yeah.
He's so funny.
Yeah. Still love Ruby. If I could, I love birds. I used to have cockatiels all the time. And I would really, really love a bird, but there's I'm sure Pete, you know this, off camera, they're very, very messy. And that's what kind of turns me off of having a bird like that. Brian says calculated shipping for me. I just think it makes sense. I mean, look, you're never going to, if you do it right, you're never going to be in a position where you're going to be losing money. Yeah. Let's say I have this $30 item, free shipping. And it's a fairly large item, but that's what everyone else is selling it for. You're going to be disappointed quite a bit when you finally get the sale and you ship the item and, you're into that item for $10 and you're left holding like, wow, I made nothing on this. There's nothing worse than getting a sale and finding out you made nothing or even lost money because you didn't, you had someone in Puerto Rico or Hawaii that bought your item and you're out, whatever. Mercari has introduced the trading card postage rate up to 3 ounces, $1.08 with tracking included, just rolled out. Mm-hmm. Now they just need to introduce some buyers and some traffic. And once they do that, then I could see that as being a good option. Picky Ricky says, no language has more words than English because we keep adding foreign words. Yes, we add.
Yeah, the English language has a lot of unnecessary words according to other languages.
Yes. Lawrence says, have you seen the new item specifics, unit type, and unit quantity? What do they want there? Well, it depends on the category you're selling in. I sell everything, but I don't think I've come across unit type or unit quantity. I mean, to me, the unit quantity would say, how many of these do you have for sale? Well, how many units are up for sale in this one transaction? So if you're selling like a lot of 10, you'd put 10. If you're selling just 1, you'd put 1. Unit type, well, unit type would be, if you're in a certain category, it should give you a drop down. And a lot of times it'll give you a list of different types of units within that selling category. And you'd pick the one that closely resembles what you're selling. But if it's not a required item specific, don't guess, leave it blank, because The last thing you want to do is put an item specific that someone's searching for, and they use that as a filter to filter down the results, and your item's excluded because that wasn't in there. I would just leave it alone. If you don't know the answer, just leave it alone on that one. And don't worry. I think a lot of people are so caught up on the fact that, for instance, eBay is telling me right now that I have 175 item specifics that they want me to fill out. Now, you guys, if watching this channel long enough, know that it was something that I would be like, well, I think I need to fill them out. So, eBay is reminding us as a daily task or summary that they want us to fill it out. And I was kind of caught up on that, spending extra time. And then you find out that eBay doesn't care about that. They recommend it because, sometimes some of these people are searching or filtering their search with, some of these additional item specifics. And the more item specifics you can accurately fill out, the better it's going to help you sell that item. But I'm not going to lose time and sleep on, I'd rather get new listings up and make sure I have the required item specifics. Let's see. Biff Boffo says all of these call centers sound more like a meat market than working in a restaurant.
It kind of came and went. A lot of people in and out. A lot of family works there. Mother daughters. A lot of aunts and nieces and nephews, and just a lot of that. And then there's always the whole drama where so-and-so's dating so-and-so, and it's a whole secret.
I think in the call center industry, at least in the United States, the call centers that remain, it's like 11% retention rate. So they're constantly filling positions because people stay I think the average was like a couple years and they'd move on. And so, it's just the way it is. You spend so much money on training people and benefits and stuff just to have to hire them again. And so we wonder why, this work's being sourced out. Right. And that's kind of why we lost our job. They sourced out to a third-party call center who's only paying their people minimum wage, where we're sitting there with a union that was getting us, heck, there's reps that are making $25 to $30 an hour. And then you throw in overtime compared to them now paying $10 an hour to someone in Florida. And that's, we had the call centers in Florida that you walk in and they have 10 different companies. So one day you might be taking orders for a blender, and the next day you might be taking orders for someone's vacation. So, the old call centers are constantly trying to get rid of their employees and get you to use self-service, like online options instead of calling in. That's why eBay, they'll encourage you to chat first before you get a rep. When you click on, I need help on this item. Flippin' Con Marco says, I still work at a call center now, 100% remote as my main job. But let me tell you, when the office, everyone's business and good, bad, and the wow.
Oh, yeah. There are some stories I could tell about some people in the call center. I mean,
yeah, and it's sad in that it's sad in that, you think you have friends in the call center, and then they'll say, yeah, this person, they just told me they're getting a divorce and this, that, and other thing. And then your business is out there and it's like, wow, really?
There's a whole lot of infidelity going on.
Yeah. Oh, that's crazy.
It's terrible.
Anytime Picker says, good evening, everyone. I think Jenna needs to do lives on Friday by herself from now on.
Oh, no. I need my partner.
Am I getting, Roman, are you firing me? Am I getting fired? She did a good job for sure. And, that's why she's on this live stream. And, many times it took her a good 2 months to really feel comfortable. It's like, are you going to be on the live today? No, why not? They want you on there. And she's like, no, they don't. I'm like, yes, they do. They've made many comments that they want to see you on the live stream. So I think she's finally comfortable with the idea of being on the live streams, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't like doing it alone. Because like I said on Friday, I'm not like, you could ask certain questions in the chat about eBay and I probably would know or have a really good answer, but there are a lot of things that I don't have the answer to. Like when Wanda was asking the question about the USPS, I had no idea, but I'm sure he knows.
I don't know. I have to look. I think something about links or something.
Yeah.
I'll have to check into that.
Yeah.
Khaled A says, I tried to reply to the offer with the customer's message and I got an error message. The buyer is not eligible for a seller offer. So buyers can only get so many offers from sellers. So not just you, but you probably had someone that was interested in, look, I'm trying to buy this item, whatever this item is. And so they're going through and they're when you click on an item enough, eBay will kind of earmark that person as a watcher. Like for instance, like when I was studying on that, remember that item I sold, that 1999 thing, Space 1999, I sold it for $1,800 for the 3 different pieces, cost me $70. Well, I spent so much time looking at comps that, and not only the sold comps, but the active comps, that I was getting offers from people, for that item because I spent so much time looking at those items. eBay thought I was a prospective buyer. And so just think, if that person's shopping many, many different sellers for that item and the other sellers are on top of it and you just didn't beat them to sending an offer, well, you're going to be told that you can't send an offer. And it's because they've had too many offers sent to them. eBay doesn't want their buyers inundated with a ton of messages from sellers. They don't want people to feel like they're getting spammed. So they're only going to allow so many offers for that buyer. So it's very important. That's another reason why it's very important. As soon as you get that chance to send an offer to Watcher, like I have 3 right now, I'm not going to do it during the show, but as soon as I can, I'm going to send them out because I want to be one of the first ones that get the offer in, and I don't want to be the seller that gets that error message. And it's not an error message. It's part of it's what's programmed in the system. It's not a glitch or anything like that. Tommy says, I got one-time final warning for a false positive feedback, said next time will result in suspension or permanent removal from eBay. Wow. Interesting. So it's good lesson learned. I wouldn't do it. It's just not worth your time. And look, it's not worth violating eBay's policy.
I mean, just do what John does. Yell and scream and then reply to it in a professional manner.
Yeah. And well, not really replying to anything. I mean, if you have to contact, or if you have a buyer that's saying some crappy things to you, like via message, then you'd want to do what you do in the call center. Like when I was in management, someone would really tick you off, but you can't send an unprofessional reply back to them. You have to just get up, walk away, think about it for a minute, and come back with your most professional response.
John will go get a snack.
Yeah, I love snacks.
He's a stress eater. So when people, do stupid stuff, he will go get a snack.
And AJ, and I still want to know, is it AGI 3 or is it AJ 13?
It looks like AJ 13.
Says, but thank you for the super chat. Hi, all. Good luck in sales. If you want to get rid of smells, get ozone deionizer. They're not really cheap, but nothing else will do what it does. Okay.
Huh. Well, thank you.
Well, fortunately, the stuff that we have doesn't smell that bad.
Yeah.
So, it is what it is. But
I swear by baking soda and vinegar.
Truman says, when I receive a message from a potential buyer, I check their feedback left for sellers. Too many negatives or all negatives, I let them know that they're invited to my block party now and they're honored. Tommy says, yep, can't hold feedback over their head. So auto feedback is one less thing to ever worry about. Noah Design says, what I've learned about lives is that the JPN, John and Jenna. See, I'm not the only one that has problems. John and Jenna lives are the smoothest to watch. I don't know why, but I can't see myself watching just John live anymore. I think Jenna brings the calm to John's storm, I guess, or the peanut butter to his jelly. Wait, that just sounds kinky. Never mind, Jenna just works well with John's lives. Peanut butter and jelly, huh? Okay.
Well, thank you.
Let's see. How do I follow up that? CoinOp Steve says eBay has instant pay.
Not for everybody.
Well, they have. Okay, so some buyers are assigned that they have to pay right away. And there's no rhyme or reason. You ask eBay, they'll say, well, if a buyer has had problems paying in the past, they may be earmarked, sooner than buyers who haven't had problems. I still get non-paying buyers, so I guess that's not quite it. I don't think eBay reps really know what's going on. I think eBay communicates with their reps as well as they communicate with us, which means that they don't know. And so hopefully they'll get their act together. But until then, we're still dealing with layaway. Amazon seller says, in my opinion, feedback isn't as important like it was back in the day.
Right.
The trust in the platform is enough for people to buy unless your feedback is just horrible. Yes. Thomas says, plus she was only 30 minutes behind the chat. John's still reading the welcome back comments. Well, that just means that, look, there's more people that have something to say.
Hey, I'm going to say, okay, I used to give John a lot of flack for being so behind in the chat. But let me tell you, it is not easy. And Tommy, I mean, I don't know how, I have never been able to see you live or on a show. But for anybody who does lives, if you're trying to read the comments, I mean, there is going to be a point where we can't read every single comment because there's so many people commenting.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of sidebar chat that you guys are doing amongst yourself, which is great. We love that, but we have to read it first. And so you'll, you know, like me, I was getting quiet because I'm trying to read it to make sure that it was asking me something or talking to me and not talking to another conversation. So I have to say, I'm sorry for giving you flack.
Well, plus,
but it's a lot.
Plus, if I get like double the comments because of my poor English, then yeah, she didn't get all that, right? So she was able to get through the comments that much faster. And I can recall, Tommy, watching you and Tracy you guys did like banter back and forth, right? So there wasn't a lot of reading the comments, just a little different. But I really feel like, look, you guys drive the direction of the show. And if you guys take the time to put a comment or a question, I'm going to take the time to read it and try to answer it. And because of that, it kind of throws me off track.
And John has he can't read the question and calculate, is this something I should comment on or say before he says it out loud.
You guys remember I used to click on everything. You guys remember that? And I'd start clicking on your sidebar chat conversations, and it really didn't make sense for somebody who wasn't looking at chat
or him.
So I'm getting better. So it's still not flowing as fast as I'd like it to, but you know what? I think if you're not watching the chat, I think it still makes for a good conversation. I think the flow is still there on the live. So William says, is it not important to get a shipping receipt? I think if it is, like, for instance, I had a package I swore I turned into the UPS store. Okay. But a lot of times they have a line in the store and I just put it on the counter and they've never had a problem in the past. Well, it's somebody that said, hey, I never received it and there's no activity on the package. So I determined, and eventually they ended up getting the package. But what happened was, it was because it was put in with my USPS packages. And eventually UPS will pick it up from USPS maybe weeks later, and it'll get into the system. And that's what happened here. And had I not had a receipt, if I had a receipt to say, oh, well, there was never a scan because I'd never turned it in, then, I'd be able to determine if it was my fault or what's going on. But if you can get a receipt, I can tell you that, like, when this person picks up for FedEx, they scan it right then and there.
They scan it right there. As they're loading it onto the dolly, he's scanning. So I have no reason to believe that anything should get, I'm sure things happen along the route, but I don't have as big of a worry as I did before.
Now, PTS Treasure says, question, had a buyer purchase video game listed as untested in title, condition, and description, wanted a refund without return. I said, please return. Am I wrong? And no.
No, you're not wrong.
Well,
I had somebody last week say that they wanted a refund, because they were going out of the country on a cruise and we're not going to be able to send back the shoes. And I said, no. Sorry, that's not how it works. You don't just get a refund without me getting the product back.
Well, that one was a situation where the title had the actual correct size and the listing and the item description had the correct size.
Yeah.
And we were piggybacking off of the same model shoe, but it was a different size. And somehow the item specific stayed at the like 9.5 and the shoe was a 7.5.
Yeah.
So look, sellers have a responsibility to get their listings right, including item specifics. But if there's conflicting information, like the title says is a 7.5 and you're a 9.5, you should be asking questions before you buy. Right. But here, the question that you ask, am I wrong in thinking it's as is? My thing is, there really isn't, unless you're selling for parts or repair, there really isn't an as is, because you're not able to test it. And there's a lot of things you're not able to test. I understand that. But the way I would look at it is to accept the return. Never offer a partial refund unless you can verify you made a big mistake in the listing. And it makes sense, right?
But to give a refund without a return, unless it's an item that you don't care to get back or resell again, I wouldn't give a refund.
He says, I sold an item on eBay, but it shows under active, just zero quantity. Is this correct? There's a setting, maybe someone can actually tell me what it is, because I haven't messed with it, but there is a setting in your selling preferences that you can turn that off, where your zero quantity. The reason why that eBay does that is to set a zero quantity when you sold an item. Let's say you get those items in quite a bit. Let's say this one item I get all the time, and to think that you're going to have to go in and create a listing every time you find that item, it's much easier just going to be able to change your quantity from 0 to like 5 if you get 5 more in. That's why eBay has it. But if you're like me, have items that you're probably not going to see ever again, then it's probably best to just go in and turn that off. But someone might have to put that here in the chat somewhere. Let's see. Truman says, I use the shipping receipt for proof of travel or mileage. Okay. I use a mileage. I use Everlance to track tracks my mileage, and it asks me if it's personal or business. I swipe left, swipe right, and boom, it's done. Processes, I've started doing well in public purchases and landlords, and it's becoming my main source of income, and the online sales have become passive income. But passive income is important. I mean, it allows you to have a little extra money on hand. Tommy says, people still promote Supply Hut. Even as a partner store, they still get hundreds plus negatives a year. Hard to leave partner stores negative. Yeah. I never bought from Supply Hut yet, but if I saw, that they had a lot of problems, I probably wouldn't use them. And I won't randomly just start telling you guys to support a company if I don't use them. I'm not gonna really tell you a whole lot about them,
because there's not much we can tell you if we're not using them, and then there's nothing to talk about.
Yeah. Biff says, leaving a false positive is like shouting in the forest. Yeah, I mean, really, it doesn't. Unless you're the seller that considers, well, do I take 20 for this purchase from this seller? And look, there's times I will. If it's an item that if it's a $20 item, I ain't spending the time. I'm just going to say, look, if they're willing to pay for it, I'm going to take the offer. If it's a high value item, I may look to see if this person has feedback. Well, I really look at the feedback left for sellers. If they like to attack sellers, I'm probably not going to bother with it, but I'm not going to dive into their positive feedback. I just really never have gone that far. Let's see. Amazon seller says, I would never waste my time leaving negative feedback on eBay. Buyers can buy as a guest without even logging in. So what difference does it make? You're right. They can, or they can go in and change their feedback to private, right? And you see a lot of that too. Time Traveler's Chest says, hi, John and Jenna. I wasn't able to watch Jenna live, but I watched over the weekend. She did a great job. It was fun to watch. A boss lady. I enjoyed the call room romance.
I knew that was the only time I was going to get away with talking about it. So, and I told you I wasn't going to be talking much eBay.
Yeah. Lauren says, negative feedback should never be given by a buyer without the buyer first contacting the seller. It's like getting punched in the face by someone and getting up and asking what that was for. And I chalk that up for buyers not knowing any better about, or maybe they're just feeling like maybe they've had a bad experience and the seller's not going to reply anyway. But I believe though, eBay has it set up. Now, maybe I'm wrong, but I thought they had changed it to where you get the item and there's a problem. They tell you to reach out to the seller first before you can leave the negative. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I haven't bought in a while on eBay, to be honest with you. Um, Tommy says the amount of work that can be done in going to drop off packages pays for itself 10 times. Starting stopping is a huge time suck. It is. If I'm in a zone, if I'm like totally like focused on, list this item, boom, put it away. List this item, boom, put it away. I have to take these to the to drop them off. So now I got to stop what I'm doing, got to gather everything, do something different. And now I've got to find a way to get back into that zone. No, I agree. It's definitely.
Yeah, once you kick him out of his zone, he's all over the place.
William says, do you still buy liquidation pallets? I bought my first one Friday. I'm not happy about it. And that's why I don't buy liquidation pallets anymore. I mean, look, if the opportunity presented itself to where I can find a liquidator where I can get it locally and not paying high freight charges, which eat up into your profit, and you're basically now experience a higher cost of goods. And then when you get it, I'd say 80 to 90% of all liquidation pallets are not good for reselling online. Maybe swap meets, flea markets, that kind of thing. But a lot of these liquidators have their pallets so cherry picked that the good stuff they're doing something else with, and it's a lot of them aren't really good. And I like to buy liquidation, but I buy it by the piece now. It works great for me. And if there's a problem, I can just take it back and they take it back. So you can't do that with a pallet, right? You're stuck selling it for parts or repair, that type of thing. Let's see. Peter Harmer says eBay full of messers, 3 items, 31 ounce solid silver, 270 UK pounds, none pay loony. After 10 days, time waster again, scrapped 500 UK sterling, full of employee idiots, trust dead. I agree with you on that one. Yeah, it can be frustrating, that's for sure. Amazon seller says if you've had an actual business, paying $4 per day for a pickup is nothing. Time is money, and $4 well worth saving even a few minutes a day.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, and they just bill me at the end of the month, at the end of the week, that is, and then they hit my account. So it is what it is. Bill York is here. Thank you for being here, Bill. Trying to catch up to you guys. John Gaynor says, hi, great job, Jenna, on Friday. Thanks for all the info. I learned over 20 years on eBay. Just move on and forget giving time to losers and spend the time putting new items up and giving great service. Yes. There's always, if you sell enough stuff on eBay, there's always going to be bad apples, right? And you can get stuck and caught up in those bad apples, or just keep moving forward and looking towards dealing with better customers.
Shoot, there's bad apples in life. Are you kidding?
Backpack Treasure says, I went back and hit the like button on Jenna's live and it worked. I got a sell today.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, thanks.
Yes, we're being forced out by big biz via shipping prices. It's predicted there will be no small sellers in 2 years. I can believe there will be small sellers, but you're going to have people weeded out because they're just not adjusting. They're not making the adjustments. They're going to continue trying to make it work with free shipping. And I just really think that's a model eBay wants you to do, of course, because people, do look for free shipping. But I just think, depending on what you're selling, it's just not good. And I've moved away from it on the larger items over a pound. Brian H., eBay doesn't allow you to sell any gun accessories that are for assault weapons. I believe that's the case. Tommy says eBay is definitely not sophisticated. I don't list every day, but and my sales are great. The reason sales drop is because the best items are cherry picked, stores left with chum. Right. So if you have your good stuff out, let's say you go to a video game store and all the new video games are all sold out and all they have are the older video games. I guarantee you they're not going to do as well until they get more in stock. And so you got to keep stocking your store with good stuff. I think we were talking about it before. Yeah, I sold $800 one day worth of stuff. If I'm not replenishing my store the way I should, I'm not going to get many more $800 days because all the good stuff has gone out of my store. we can't just rely on the crap that I think a lot of us have stuff in our store. Even Tommy has stuff in his store that has been sitting there. He has like a 200 to 300 item store, but he can probably pull out a dozen items that he thought was going to sell a long time ago. And we can't just rely on those kind of items. We have to keep replenishing our stuff, our stores with items that are going to move. Lilac Seller, Meg says, Jenna, even being stressed out, you presented very confidently and it was great.
Thank you, Meg.
Yes, maybe we should have you like a special live. Keena says, all people who listen to R&B have had COVID. They don't have any taste. No, I have plenty of taste.
That is a good one.
And
Keena,
let me tell you something. I've had COVID 3 times. And I lost the taste the first time. So,
oh my God, that's great.
Biff says, John, are you saying you would pass up the PS5? No, I wouldn't pass up the PS5.
Never.
No. I mean, I'm not a PS5 kind of guy, but no, I wouldn't pass on the PS5. If I was a niche seller and I kept finding things that were like, money makers, I would do like I'm doing right now. I'd have 2 stores, and that's kind of what I would say to do. Keena says, I'm going to get kicked out of the live stream. No, you're not.
No, you're not.
You're allowed to like or dislike whatever you like. PATS Treasures, we did a free garage sale.
Never let her go.
We did a free garage sale leftovers pickup yesterday. 20 sellable items from 8 boxes. We're happy with it. Well, there you go. Tommy says, oh my God, if I insulted my wife like that, she would run back to Rome and rather be locked in his basement. Wow. Let's see. John Doe says they just did rate hikes. They're doing them again. July, yes, they're going to raise the prices in July because according to them, the USPS, they're saying that, and I quote, they have a previously defective pricing model, meaning that they were not charging you enough all this time, and that's a problem for them. They're trying to get as much money as they can. I mean, are you surprised by that? Craigslist Hunter, again, there's our proof that he's here watching the show. Awesome. Christy Myers says, I had a great yard sale weekend. Has anyone tried the app yard sale treasure map? Yes. That's what we use. And it's good idea to go on the night before to the yard sale app and plan out where these places are, because sometimes those dots disappear the day of, and the people that are relying on that information the day of won't even know there's a yard sale where you're going. Like that community yard sale I went to like a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, and you'll find less competition at those yard sales where people don't know that's even happening. Joey Oliver, I go months in between new listings. My sales are always fairly steady, but I'm wondering though, Joey, that you have activity, whether you're doing sell similar, end items sell similar, you're interacting with your buyers who ask questions, things like that. And I wonder also if you had more activity on your listings, if you listed more, chances are you're probably going to find better sales. To me, it makes sense. You have more stuff in the store than you have when you're listing once in a while. You're going to obviously, I think, make more money. Greg D says, ozone treatments involve buying an ozone generator. Hard to explain the science of it in the chat, but high concentrations of ozone kills off the organic matter, creating the smells. Interesting. Gail says, got my Bubble Boy order today, so I hope you got to credit. The Bubble Boy packing is way better than Duck at Sam's Club.
Yes.
Yeah, I like it. And yeah, they send me a message whenever, and there's not a whole lot, guys. I can be honest with you. Whenever you guys go to American Bubble Boy, use the link in the description if you're interested in getting some more bubble wrap with free shipping, and they have really good prices. But we get $5. We get $5 that we can use towards our next order. So it's not like I'm making a killing on that. But I believe that, you can go to Office Depot, Walmart, Sam's Club, but why not have it delivered to you? And I think you're paying less for the square footage of the bubble wrap.
And the quality is just so much better. I mean, in my opinion.
Thomas says,
Thank you, Gail, by the way.
Thomas says you should have Pete on to break down eBay the pro way. He can debunk all the YouTuber myths. Yeah, I'd love to have Pete on. I don't know if he'd want to be on the show, but certainly, Pete, the offer is extended. I would love to have you on the show.
I'll gladly give you my seat.
We'd have him on. It would be awesome.
I know what it means.
That would be
was
really
a joke.
awesome. I would be very honored. It's sort of like when we had Cincinnati Picker on. It was like, is this even happening? You know, it was really, really cool. So, but you know, the man's busy. Maybe he doesn't have time, but I'll be seeing him we'll be seeing him in September with our buddy Mike and a few of the others who are going. Backpack treasures. Hey, they want the weight of the item without the packaging and the unit of the weight. Maybe I'm answering someone's question. So, or maybe I'm getting involved in a sidebar conversation. Nick Picker says unit type and quantity has been in every category I've listed for the last few days. Not required in most, but is the same. Must be something for listing bundles of something. Yeah. I think it may be if you're lotting something up or something like that. But again, if you're not sure, just leave it alone.
Yeah.
Tommy says I have 239 item specifics they want, and I only have 313 listings. Yeah,
I have way more than what he has on Value Trends. On Hot Desert, it's like 500 something.
I just leave it alone now.
It used to bother me just having a number there, but now I just don't care.
Look at that. 3 eBay sales and 1 Mercari since the live started. I bet you hit that. I bet you hit the like button.
All right.
Upstate housewife, New York. I am new to eBay. I'm super intimidated. How do I give eBay a percentage of my sales to get seen more? Well, you just have to go in and, you know, in most items, you got to look at, okay, let's say this particular item I'm selling. I don't have any idea about it. So I'm going to look it up as if I'm a buyer, right? Look it up in eBay search to see how many other people are selling this item, right? So you consider that. Is there a lot of people selling that item, or is there only one other person selling that item? Then you go in to the sold. So it should be a little tab down the side if you're on the computer that says sold listings. Click on that and then see within the last 90 days how many of that item has sold. That'll give you an idea if you need to really promote your listing or not. I'd say the more items that have sold, the more competitions that have sold, or the competitors that are selling the item, the higher you need to use the promoted listing. My advice to any new seller out there is don't just think, I don't want eBay. Don't get in this mindset. I don't want eBay to get any more money than they need to. So I'm going to sit here at 2% and not promote at a higher rate. If you sit at 2%, you are basically, it's just a step above not promoting, in my opinion, because eBay will promote your items a little bit more, but you're basically in the group of everyone else that feels that way. And then the people who are willing to give eBay more business are up in this upper echelon, and they seem to do better. So do your homework. And then as you get going, you're going to get a feel for, I'm going to sell this item. I'm going to promote it. And what I do is, if I'm just going to promote, a lot of times I'll just default at what eBay asks for and then just accept it and just move on. I never promote at 2%. I just think it's a failed way of looking at the promoted listings. If you're going to do it right. You're giving eBay a few extra percentages off of the final value fees, but do you really want to move the item, or are you waiting for that unicorn buyer to come across your listing? I've changed my thoughts on that a long time ago. Biscuit Butt says, I really wish John would have you on. I'd love to hear your stories, and especially how you utilize your day.
Tommy.
I know Tommy, but I could tell you, Tommy, I've asked you to come on. I don't know if you didn't get my message, but I know you're busy, but certainly would love to have Tommy on. I think that would be pretty cool.
I think that would be a crack up.
Or if he only likes having women on the live, I could just let him hang out with Jenna, and I'll just kind of, they can banter back and forth on a live too. Right. I think that would be interesting. Maybe it's me. Maybe he doesn't want to chat with me. I don't know. Tommy says, Archie, I use the waste feature. Mostly I have young kids. I shipped today and have nothing else. I just left ballet. We'll start to work around 10 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah, he's got young kids, so he's kind of all over the place.
Yeah. Tommy doesn't drink at home, really. Just wine occasionally with dinner. I have to be alert for my rigorous 4 hours of work.
4 hours?
Yeah. Well, if it works, that kind of thing.
Shoot.
Busy Girl says, hi, glad you're live. I have an emergency question. Buyer picked local pickup, but she's across the country. Message twice to answer, no answer in 3 days. Do I call eBay or just refund? Well, here's the thing. did you charge shipping? If you charge shipping, I mean, did you have your listing set for local pickup, I guess, because you wouldn't be charging shipping. If you set it for local pickup and they're across the world, then you just go in and I would say cancel due to address problem.
Yes.
Because look, you've reached out, this person's not answering. They've already told you that there's a problem with this because they're across the country. I mean, that doesn't even make sense. Maybe they did it by accident. I would just go ahead and cancel it due to address problem.
That's what I would do.
Let me see what we got here because we are kind of running long. But you know what? In a week and talking to you guys.
Well, so you're going to be all alone on Friday and Monday.
I know. Yeah. How many people are going to hang out for that one? I'd like to see. Khalid says, if you don't like waiting in line at the post office, you can drop packages at contract postal unit, search for locations on USPS. I haven't had to do that. I mean, we're really not that far from the post office, so we just go there. Tommy says, one of my competitors uses out of stock, says he has 4,000-ish listings, but really only has a fraction of that. I often wonder if that helps or hurts. I mean, it only helps if you're going to get more of that item in, and you just go ahead and put from 0 to 1 or 2, whatever you have in stock. Scott Schendel says, sorry about that. Stains on that hat. I have a stain on my hat or some other's hat. Okay. No stain on this hat, I don't think. Stains on the hat. I take a pen pointing to the stains on the pics, and it says on the description, they didn't look at it either, I guess. Yeah. You can have all kinds of things pointing to a stain and even talk about it in your listing, and some people aren't going to look. They just don't bother. I'm trying to catch up a little bit. I think I'm very close. Thriftaholic for you all sorts. My niche is clothing, but it's getting tougher by the day. If you do not explore the other avenues, I think many resellers will be finding a part-time job. Yeah. I mean, look, when you go to a thrift store, right? What is one of the first things you see when you walk in? Racks upon racks of clothes. Almost every yard sale has clothes. It's so easy to buy clothes. So that's what, a lot of people enjoy clothing. They know brands, right? They're comfortable because they know the various brands, what is good, what's not, and they gravitate towards it. The problem is you're not the only one doing that. That niche is so saturated that it's harder and harder, right? I try not to go to clothing. We'll buy clothing if I can get a good deal, but I'm not. I really think that you really should be looking at things that there are few sellers selling, and yet there's a good number of those items being sold because there's a high demand for it. That's kind of my strategy. Thriftaholic says, I started women's clothing now as I have been doing men's. Now I look at purses, handbags, glasses, all kinds of stuff, and it's moving, made a big difference. Yeah. So you changed something. That's the key. Constantly tweak things until you find something that works. If it flips, it ships 101. I went back to working. I'm booking 60 to 70 hours a week, working normal 40 commission. eBay went south when I quit listing. Go figure. Yeah, I'm a firm believer. Not only is it, I think, your activity helpful in the algorithm, but if you have a daily habit of doing anything, it's a lot easier to do. If I take a few days off, it's like, I got a list. I've taken 3 days off. You're kind of dragging your butt. And for me, it's more of a get into your own habit, so it's not something you kind of that'll turn you off of selling. Just keep a habit, right? Every day I'm doing it, and it works for me. And that's all I can speak to. Things that work that maybe don't work for you, I can't really speak to that. I can only say this is my routine. It also helps to enjoy selling. If you just think this is just another job, you're going to treat it that way. You're going to treat it like you do any 9 to 5. If you look at it as, wow, this is my business. You look at your numbers. That money's not going to somebody else, and you're getting let's say you're working retail, right? You sell all these things. That somebody's getting rich off of your efforts. That's kind of not. It's hard to get kind of fired up to go to that kind of a job where you're just getting part-time, but someone's making a lot of money off of your efforts. With reselling or any business you run, the effort you put into it, you're getting that money. That's your money. You're not, you're not working for someone else. And that's a big motivation for me to know that the effort that I put into my store, The more I list, the more I have opportunities I have to make money. And that's why it becomes a daily habit for me. Let's see. Nick Picker, I quit putting local pickup on my listings because I had that way happen way too many times. New buyers choose local pickup because they see that option is free. Then you can never get a hold of them. Yeah, no local pickup for me. And I think I've tried it once and had somebody, and only because somebody from, I think the south, like 20 miles away from here in Henderson, Nevada, said, hey, I'm in the area. I'm willing to meet you to pick it up. It was like a $50 item. I wasn't getting any sales on it. It's been sitting in my store. So for me, it was like, okay, I'm going to be going out that direction anyway. So I was, able to make that work. And that's the only time I ever considered it. Busy Girl says, thanks, guys. Plus, your wife did an excellent job on her live the other day. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's see.
Oh, so on Friday, they want to hear your version of
where
the.
Am I missing that somewhere?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
I'm just warning you. For
Processes,
Friday,
guys.
You're going to be asked.
Guys, great show. Good to see John home safe and sound. Hope you all have a great week. See y'all in the next one. Got to go early start in the morning. Yeah, I know Processors in UK, and it's really late right now there. Mm-hmm. Guide Guru says, yeah, girls love them Dooney bags. Mine does. They're pricey, but they're fakes. I don't have an eye for it. Real quick, because this doesn't matter now. I'm late. They picked up the bag. Oh, shit. Oh, well, you're not supposed to say that, but okay. But either way, we're having too much fun. Recently had an item wrongfully taken down, and after winning my appeal, my sales skyrocketed. I wonder if that has eBay saying sorry. I don't know. I wouldn't doubt it, but I hear the bag outside. That's not good. She came. Yep, she left the bag. She left the bag. That was her way of giving us some bags. That's nice of her. Well, at least she came. I don't have to freak out. We're going to kind of wind this down, but I want to get to some more comments. Thriftaholic says, today I bought a pair of Burberry reading glasses for 50 cents. They comp like for 30 up to 70 bucks. That's the way you do it. That is the way you do it. Find stuff you buy cheaply. Guess what? If you don't sell the item, you're out 50 cents, right? So that is an example of what type of item you want to buy. Buy things low and that you can sell high. And if you have to come down to 10 bucks eventually, then you're still making what? Almost 20x your profit or your 20x what you put into it. If it flips, it ships 101. I actually took a survey rating eBay today, and it was kind of hard not to give them a top rated, so to speak. I figured they got me through hard times, and it's all good. Look, I want you guys to know I'm going to say things on this channel that maybe isn't so nice to eBay, right? I'm just going to shoot straight with you guys. There's going to be times that I give them their kudos. Lately, it's been more bad than good, but I'm not a hater of eBay. I want to see eBay do well, because if eBay does well and succeeds, they're going to get more people on the site to buy my items, and it's going to benefit all of us, right? So I'm only honest with eBay because I want to see eBay make these changes, and hopefully someone from eBay's, I'm sure they have a media team watching these channels. Maybe they can get not only my feedback, but they're seeing your feedback in the chat and the comments below if you're watching it after the fact, and they're seeing that it's not just me that feels this way. There's other sellers, and maybe it's something. I'm hopeful that they care enough to make the changes. The amazing Jesse says, I left my AT&T corporate career to resell full time in 2019 and never looked back. Do you guys miss having a 9-to-5? No. No regrets here except one thing. If you work for the railroad and you put in 30 years, it's a 30-60 rule, meaning that once you turn 60 and you have at least 30 years, you can retire at 60 with full, you're fully vested in everything, right? Because I have 26 years and I missed it by 4 years, I have to wait till I'm 67 to get that money. And that's the only regret I have. I'm much happier, less stressed out than I was when I was working, running my own department. I got to tell you that. The Joypad Lad online game store. How's everyone's April been compared to the first 3 months of the year? My sales have still been down overall on every platform, and I'm listing more, sending out offers, and much more than normal. I got to tell you, I did get a little blip in the beginning of April that kind of concerned me, that made me think, well, maybe people aren't getting their refunds and sales are slowing down. But guys, I'm back at 2019 levels. I'm very, very happy, and I'm not satisfied. I mean, I want to do more than that if I can, but it's a lot different feeling now with reselling as compared to December and January. I can tell you that. Thrift Aholic says, I'm having my best month. And I think it's because tax returns coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see how it goes in June, July, August. That's historically when things slow down. I think that's will tell you if you're really selling good stuff, if you're still getting those sales during those slow months. Dr. Thrifty had a question, Flip. When you list an item, are you putting anything into the unit quantity and unit type space? I think I had this question. Mm-hmm. My voice is going out for some reason. Sorry about that cough.
Welcome to Friday.
Yeah, really. When you list an item, you're putting anything in the unit quantity. I only put that in if it's a 1, I'll put 1. If I'm listing one of that type, if it's a lot of 10, I'll put 10. Unit type usually will have a drop down as to what it is. So if you're in a category that has it wants you to kind of define which kind of these items are you selling, then I would use that. If you're not sure, don't fill it in. Let's see. Me neither. I've been using listing a bunch of jeans and leaving it blank. Yeah, just leave it blank. And now maybe if there's a drop down saying the type and maybe it says bell bottoms or so whatever. I doubt that's the case. I don't know enough about the jeans, but if you can find something that matches what you're selling, then fill it in. Otherwise, don't guess. Joypad says, thanks for the reply. January through March were my best months in probably a year, but April has been tough. Yeah, just keep plugging away. That's all you can do. Let's see. So that's really all the questions that we have here. So I think we're an hour, actually 2 hours in, and it's one of those things where time flies when you're having fun. And it's always a fun time to talk to you guys and just talk shop and see a lot of new people that jump in on the live. So that's really, really cool. But look, things are going to keep changing with eBay, and it's not always going to be eBay on eBay side. It's going to be USPS rates, right? When they decide that they've grossly, in their opinion, they have a previously defective pricing models, and they're going to make changes to kind of keep up with the other carriers. And these are all things that we're going to have to deal with as sellers. And it's basically how you adjust and the adjustments you make. My recommendation is to really strongly consider charging for shipping over £1 and leaving the free shipping model to anything that's under £1. But those are decisions you have to make. And another example of how sometimes flipping ain't easy. And I want you guys to have an excellent start to your week. And we will talk to you very soon. And also on Fridays live, same time, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern time. So take care, everyone.
Have a good week,
nice talking
everybody.
to you guys again.